is this? It's like a Karen voice, right?
Do you have any lucky objects?
Do I have any lucky objects?
Yeah.
Like your rye chip?
This?
I thought I saw in your clip that you had eaten that. I looked at
No,
your
I'm
clips.
saving it for when I'm partnered.
Once I got given a like a necklace by a stranger when I worked at the mall. He walked up to me. He said I like reminded him of Stevie Nicks, and he gave me like a little onyx. He was like, you look like you belong in like a different like time. And he was like, I never give these away, but I want you to like have it. But then I read that like stones can hold like a lot of like negative energy. And so I had to Google how to cleanse it. And I like gave it a fire bath and a salt bath.
Asura wants to know, what is a fire bath?
Oh, so you like you just take like a lighter, or like I guess you could like hang it in a candle, but you like literally like put it in the fire and like cleanse it with that. It
Do you
comes
still
from
have
someone
the
else.
item?
I do. I
Can
don't
you go
really
get
know
it?
if
Can
you
you
really
go
want
get
me
it?
to
I want
get
to
it.
see it. I want to see what.
Yeah, it's actually kind of pretty. I'll
Yeah,
go
go
grab.
get it. Go get it. I want to see this fucking necklace. Wait, her hair is so cute.
All right, how to find it? It's like it's kind of pretty. Like it's
Oh my god, okay, bitch, that looks kind of ominous. That looks like some Kurzak
so
shit.
honestly, when I started wearing it, like I felt like things were happening that were kind of weird, and so I was like, I don't know if I should trust this. I don't know if I should wear it anymore.
Explain.
No, like my mom's actually, she followed me on Twitter for quite some time, and that's kind of like a little bit like part of our relationship that like, you know, has gotten better because like when I first started posting pictures that were like a little bit more, I would say like risque, she would like have a fit. And she ended up following my Twitter, and I blocked her for a while, and then she followed me again for a little bit. I mean, we're pretty open with each other. So, but yeah, she followed me again, and I'll never forget. She like sent me a text, and she was just like, I'm going to unfollow. Like just because like I don't fully understand. She was like, but I'm like so proud of you, and like keep doing what you're doing. And it was just like, wow, you know, like she.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Like on my Instagram, it's pretty lewd.
That is so good. By the way, like how,
Thank you.
like, and you don't edit your pictures a lot.
No, I actually stopped doing that for a while when I first started streaming and starting my gaming Instagram, or my like streamer content creator Instagram. I was actually like very like I was really hard for me, and like I used to like Facetune a lot. I used to like kind of enhance things and like smooth out like cellulite, and part of my like kind of just like journey and like learning to love myself, and also just kind of being like out there, I decided to stop editing my photos and start posting them like raw. Like obviously like I filter them, but I stopped doing any sort of like smoothing out or like any of that. And it really helped me. And I've actually had like a really strong like female audience, and they come to me a lot, and actually really value they value the content I post, which is pretty cool. You know, what was I like growing up?
Like, what was high school like for you?
Horrible. I had a horrible, yeah, I have always been like a really honest person, and I went to like a high school that was not the greatest, and I like got on like a senior girl's bad side because she had like this football player boyfriend that like liked me. I was a cheerleader, and she set out to make my life hell. And girls like get really like kind of into like a group mentality sometimes.
Oh yeah, very tribal.
Yeah, I had a lot of girls kind of like come at me, and like almost like two separate like groups of girls. Like she showed up at my work with a baseball bat once. Like she like made it seem like she was cool with me, and then she like we had a junior senior egg fight, and I was a junior, she was a senior, and she like told everyone she was bringing like frozen eggs to that. I mean, she just like was hateful to me, and so after a while like I just was like, you know, like screw you, like I'll just like if your boyfriend's gonna hit on me like and you're gonna be this way, like I'm not gonna sit there and try to be like cool with you. And like I was in high school, so I was dumb and I antagonized it, you know, like a little bit, not a lot. She like got really pissed one night. I thought they were broken up, like I'd been talking to him, I guess they weren't broken up. And yeah, she brought her and her friends and like showed up to my work with a baseball bat, and I had to like get like run out like the back with like my best friend, and like they literally like chased us in a truck, like, and I went to like a Catholic high school. My school got shut down for gang violence when I was a freshman, so I actually went to like a Catholic school for half of my sophomore year, and then I went back to that school after my junior year and senior year because my parents were like, we're not paying for this anymore. And that was like a whole nother thing, like trying to get like fit in there because like all those kids had grown up together and I had like to go through like being the new girl, and that was like a whole different story too.
What was Catholic school like?
It was like weird. I wasn't Catholic at all. So like I felt alienated the whole time, you know? Like you have to like go to those like services, and like accept communion, and like, but when you're not Catholic, you have to like put your hands over your like, so, and that was like in front of a whole like stadium of like your like peers. So like I always felt alienated, and like when I started to get to know people and I guess like come into my own, like I was in like my like what I was just like a freshman sophomore, I was like going to like hardcore shows and stuff. Like I was like just not, I did not fit in. And then when I like kind of started like I guess like my sophomore year, like my hair got longer, and like I don't know, like not uncommon to like get like accidentally maced in the hallways at my high school. We had this police officer that everyone called OG, and he was like very mace happy, which I mean obviously there was like fights that like broke out and he had to use his mace, but quite a few people I know like accidentally like was in the like shot like the spray of the mace and got maced.
So you are dating another streamer.
I am dating another streamer, yeah.
Well, you guys met online.
Yeah, we met. Actually, I had been rated by another streamer, who I guess had gotten recommended to me from Twitter. So when I went to check out his channel, he was streaming and he was playing a clip from, he does a game show, and my now boyfriend was in the clip, and I was like, oh, that guy looks like really cool. And I went to just drop him a follow, and he actually was live when I went to drop him a follow. And like, we just started talking, and like, he was playing like music I had liked, and I don't know, I just liked his vibe. And so I actually like hung out in his chat and just like started like talking to him, and just started hanging out in his streams. He rated me back, and then like we actually just like talked as friends for a very long time. I didn't know he liked me until we met. We formed like a very just strong like friendship and like connection, and like we like having feelings for each other or liking, like I had no idea. I was terrified. I had no idea. Sometimes I would think that like, yeah, like sometimes I would think I thought he liked me, but a lot of times I didn't know. And so sometimes I felt like I was just like, am I making this up in my head? we met, it was, you know, very like much so real.
I don't know if you guys ever know, but I was in Harry Warshaw's chat once watching when he was live, and I literally wanted to die because I felt so bad. I felt so awkward. So essentially what happened was her major crunch, her boyfriend was on there, and I was like, oh, like let me set him up, like da-da-da-da, having no idea, like I know Divynes, having no idea this is her boyfriend, you guys, like no idea. And so then as soon as she's like messages me, she goes, that's my boyfriend, but like not in a mean way or anything, but she's just like, that's my boyfriend. And I was like, oh my god. You guys ever think you'll stream together?
Yeah, we actually talked about it. Like his community's asked for it, my community's asked for it, and actually like I've wanted to do it for a while now. So yeah, we've talked about it for sure. Actually, like I've saved like a couple boxes of Bean Boozled. I'm pretty sure I ate dog food too, like as a child.
I feel like
you know, like if you're like a kid around dog food, you probably have eaten it.
I used to eat. How tall are you?
I'm 5'8". I'm like really fucking tall for a girl.
Oh, you're like a tall, like long-legged motherfucking vixen.
Generally, like I'm just like pretty like silly and goofy. I feel like you would like probably look at my social media and not really think that about me. So I try to post clips and stuff because like I think once you come to stream, like you get like a little bit of a different experience than what you would expect. Not everyone is positive all the time, and I'm very like honest with my community, like when I'm not doing well.
Right.
And I would never pretend to be like well all the time because I'm human. But
wait, when did you start Twitch?
I started Twitch back in June of 2018, I believe. I started on Mixer because I had an Xbox, and like I was doing a game, and people were like, oh, you should like stream so we can like tell you what you're doing wrong, because I was doing some like in-game content, and I was streaming on Mixer because I had like terrible internet at the time. Right. And they were like, you're really funny, like you should probably start like streaming. So I started on Mixer, like no cam, just because like that's all I could do. I could only do like story games because I couldn't like do anything online. But I'd always like planned on moving to Twitch. So I think I moved to Twitch by like in maybe like July or August of 2018.
How was the experience on Mixer versus Twitch?
I mean, It was like I didn't mind it that much. Like I was doing well, like for being like a no cam like Xbox streamer. Like I always had like 8 to 9, like 10 viewers for just starting out, and people were always like in my streams. I started streaming like this like really cute game called Little Nightmares. It was kind of like a
Yes,
horror.
I saw that. Yeah.
It's like a really like the art style and like the storyline is actually really really cool. But anyways, I had like good streams. But yeah, I'd always intended to move to like Twitch. I feel like Mixer always like kind of. I'm like I don't talk down on it, but people always kind of had this like connotation, like there was like, oh, Mixer. So once I got like out of my internet contract, I like moved on over to Twitch.
And are you partnered on Twitch currently?
Oh no, very far from that.
Yeah, same. I got to deny.
I have a Switch, and I on a whim, like I'd had this tweet on like Twitter go like semi-viral. I was like, what is Animal Crossing? Like, what are you doing it? And like was like, I was just like making like a meme out of it, and like all these like Animal Crossing like responded on the tweet, and it really popped off, and like everyone was so nice. And so when it came out, I was like, I'll check out this game. Like I'd never played, I'm not familiar with the game. And I bought it, and the first night I played it, I was like, oh, I can see why this is kind of cute, but I kind of regretted spending like the $60 on it. But then I like really got into it, and I love it. So I've been streaming a lot of Animal Crossing lately, and then I do like just chatting always to start out my streams, just to kind of like talk to people and connect with the community. And then I do like a horror game every Saturday. I do like a scary, like a spooky Saturday stream with scare alerts. And I've been starting with Animal Crossing and then moving into that. But for a while, so like I've dug deep and found like really like creepy skiffies on the internet, and then I find like the scariest sounds that I can find on the internet, and I like. So basically, when someone like I have them like for 100 bits and like 666 bits or a dono of 666.
Oh my god, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, do it. It's fun. They love it. They love doing it. I just beat Visage, and it's hard to like find one that's gonna like kind of like hold a light to that, because that was a very terrifying game. One of my favorite things about like when me and Major first hung out was that like one night we were hanging out, and like we might have been drinking beers, might have been smoking. We had this like long conversation about like what. No, we were.
Okay, I was gonna say, I thought like when you said we, I was like, wait, is she mean like the cat
we
were like rolling?
But we used to play like we used to play Elder Scrolls Online, and so like what he did was we basically were talking about like all my cats and like what like class they would be like from the game. And I have like this really fat like chonker cat. He's like 20 pounds. His name is Nash, and he's a fucking asshole. He's like the biggest asshole cat I've ever had in my life. Like Major's actually allergic, so we have to keep them like shut out of my room when he's over. Well, so we spend most of the time at his place, but I mean when he's here, he's just like like takes allergy medicine, and like I always like make sure I like wash my bedding and like try to clean like before he comes over, and like he has medicine, and I keep them shut out of the room. So
what was it like when you guys met for the first time? Like, were you I would be like so nervous. I'd be like, what if they thought I was better looking online? Like, what if like like I'd be so nervous.
Oh, like all those thoughts. I had all those thoughts just like for like ever. I was so nervous and just like high strung. Like I had to force feed myself to eat before I actually like met up with him. We met at like a bar down the road from me. And actually the place I had suggested was actually closed, so we had to go to a different place, but it actually like was really cool. We had like a flight of beers, and we actually went like we had this like really cool night where it's like we just like went around to all these bars. We like walked to a restaurant and had like we both enjoy walking, so we like walked to like a restaurant nearby and had like a really nice meal, and went like all around my side of town, and it was just like it was kind of instant,
Yeah.
We ended up hanging out. He was gonna be here for like a few days, and we ended up like hanging out for like 2 weeks before he went back home. I'd been single for a really long time, so like having someone around, like it was something I wasn't used to, but it was like right before New Year's, and he was like, do you want me to stay for New Year's? And I was just like, yeah, like I'd love to experience New Year's with you. So we kind of like pushed out how long he stayed, and then he just like we were just having such a good time. We did a lot when he was here. Like we just like explored Nashville. And
do you like horror movies? You play a lot of horror games.
Yeah, I love horror movies. I've actually always loved horror movies. I don't watch as much as I used to, but I do.
What's like one of your favorite movies, would you say?
I was talking about it the other day, but like I love like all the like old like John Carpenter Halloweens. But like recently, I think one of the more recent ones I saw, Hereditary, was like amazing to me. I loved that film. That's a
What
good one.
spawned your love of horror?
Um, my dad was like literally my dad was like this like really cool like he like skateboarded, he was like into like punk music, he was obsessed with the Alien Predator movies and horror in general. So like I remember being like around him like watching like Tales of the Crypt and like I saw like Killer Clowns from Outer Space when I was young on accident and had like a weird like clown phobia for a while. So yeah, I think just like
Really?
growing up around that, um I grew up around that, so I think it's always just kind of like stuck. Anything he introduced me to, I've noticed that like I just like he's actually why like I gamed. Like we played like Nintendo like, on Saturday nights together. Um
Oh, do you guys still
yeah.
game?
He actually passed away when I was 8.
Oh no, I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm so sorry for your loss. Oh my god, wait, I'm gonna
Oh,
cry.
thank you. Thank
Oh,
you.
I'm
Yeah,
so sorry.
thank you.
But that's really cool that you can have his like memory through like gaming and like building. I mean, he definitely would be so proud of you, and he probably is still like up above, like so proud of you. Like I'm not like religious or anything, but like I'm definitely like a spiritual person, and I feel like I don't know, like I feel like you have so much good stuff to come for you, and you built such a good community, like that's so kind. I've only heard such good things about it, and I'm so excited to see you grow more too.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. That means a lot.
Yeah,
I think about that a lot. I think like just kind of like how much he would probably it, like how proud he would be
absolutely,
of me. He was an
definitely.
artist too, so like I always thought it was like he always tried to teach me to draw and for a while I did, but I actually like went more towards like makeup, which is art in and of
That's
itself. I told the story on stream. I actually like used to like look at like deviant art a lot, and I used to like I loved animals obviously my whole life. So actually like I think I ended up like drawing like a lot. Like I could always look at something and like draw it, but I could never just like sit down and come up with something from my own imagination really. But anyways, I think I used to draw like a lot of furry art essentially. Like I used to find all
Wait, what?
the furry art.
I love her like having this like deep ass moment, and then out of nowhere, this bitch comes out just being like, I used to draw fairy art. Like, wait, hold the fuck
But
up.
like
Are you the first?
unknowingly.
I literally think it's so cool. I feel like furries are Loki so couture. Like, I love it. Like,
I'm not. My mom thinks I am because like for a long time, like I used to troll her on like Amazon. We shared Prime, and so I would just like order things on purpose. And now obviously like I have like my furry like cat ears and stuff, and so she like
but
really
cat
thinks I
girl's
was.
like different.
Whatever, like floats people's boat, like nothing wrong with it. I'm not personally a furry. No. I just accidentally drew furry stuff. Like I didn't know. I just like loved animal people. Like I liked people that looked
Yeah.
like animals.
I mean,
I almost wore my pink wig, but I was like, no, I can't.
no,
'cause,
you
like,
should. What do you envision for your community, both short term and long term?
What do I envision for my community, short term and long term?
Yeah, like what are kind of just I don't know. What's at the soul, the nut, the seed?
Just, I mean, honestly, like I'm always super proud to like have a community that is so welcoming and like kind to people. Like you come into my chat and like I greet you, but like people in chat and my chat greet you, like not just mods, like my like just like regular community members. Um, and a lot of times I'll go to other streams and like that doesn't happen. And I don't think that's like 100% necessary. Like I'm not going to knock other channels for that not happening, but it makes you feel welcome. And like sometimes I get nervous
Yeah,
when I go in, I get nervous when I go into other streams. Like I think communities can be intimidating, especially if it's your first
definitely.
time.
Especially if you're not
So
familiar with Twitch and stuff too.
yeah, so like the fact that like my community is like kind of like an ambassador and kind of embody like what I am like is super important and strong. Like I just think that's amazing and I value that so much. And just like having a place for people to come and feel like they're welcome at all times, like I enjoy that so much. And just continuing to grow it and to being stronger and larger. And I like helping people too, so like people that like have questions about like whether it be like makeup or like I get a lot of questions about like my like camera and stuff like that, like or if like people want to start streaming, so I like love helping build people up like if they want to start like this journey as well.
Yeah, you like gassing them up. Little
Yeah,
Pisces.
I've always helped people like in whatever I've done, so it fits here too.